Hello everyone, I am Surrendalot Reviews, and I'm back, and I'm ready to look at some more Generation 1 Transformers. But before I get started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if I can't convince you, perhaps this picture of my cats will convince you. And, random fact about my cat society is that my cat claims he was the one who painted the Mona Lisa. But without further ado, let's get to this! So, the first episode we're gonna look at is Blaster Blues, where the Earth is having some radio problems, which might be part of the Decepticons' incredibly deceptive business practices. But without further ado, let's get to this! So, the episode starts out with this scene here.
The Earth is but a speck on the arm of the universe. There must be intelligent life out there, waiting as we are to be contacted. My Voltronic Galaxer will scramble my words into pulsations, enabling alien life to translate them to their own language. To whom it may concern, I, Professor Haley, on behalf of my fellow scientists and the planet Earth, invite you to join with us in the spirit of friendship.
We appreciate your hospitality, Professor.
Response! Where are you? In another galaxy?
Much closer than that.
But we'll gladly blitz you to another galaxy.
But unfortunately, the Autobots could not arrive in time because Blaster was blasting music a little too loud, really waking up the neighbors, and the Decepticons get away. And also, as it turns out, they are on the moon. And unfortunately, in the process of spying on the Decepticons, Cosmos and Blaster get captured by the Decepticons. And with Blaster and Cosmos captured, Megatron sends this message to planet Earth.
Greetings, humans. This is Megatron. I am the leader of the Decepticons, ruler of the planet Earth. Don't worry, flesh creatures. Soon you will have a new leader to piece your planet back together. The Autobots will be of no use to you. I control the airwaves, Earthlings. I will return your airwaves to you for a price. Listen carefully. In exchange for your airwaves, I want all of your energy reserves. I want your coal, your oil, your gas, electricity, all of it. And then, only then, will I return your airwaves to you.
Okay, Megatron, I don't mean to question your evil master plan or anything like that, but don't you think this is like a little bit much? I mean, why not go with something like, I don't know, install solar panels somewhere that gets a lot of sun, or try like wind power or hydroelectric power. You know, something more renewable and not something a little more this here. Anyways, so with Megatron controlling the airwaves, the world is thrown into chaos. Things like planes not being able to be coordinated, trains not being able to be communicated to please stop, and also people not able to call the fire department, and also weather reporters are not able to report that people should stay off the roads because of a snowstorm, and the Autobots have to help. But luckily for the Autobots, Blaster also just so happens to be on the moon, and he's blasting a lot of music up there, and so they go to Omega Supreme to go take them to the moon. And on the moon, Omega Supreme defeats Astro Train, and Optimus Prime absolutely decimates Megatron. Meanwhile, Blaster and Cosmos end up destroying Megatron's contraption, and all is well and the episode ends. And overall, I will say that Blaster Blues is a good episode, and a lot better than I remember it as a kid. And I do like the part where Megatron basically just takes control of the airwaves and threatens the world to give him all of their energy supplies. But I think Megatron could probably go some a little more renewable, like, I don't know, solar power, wind power, but hey, what do I know? But without further ado, on to the next episode, which is Decepticon Raider in the King Arthur's Court. Boy, that's quite a mouthful of a title. But without further ado, let's get to this. So, the episode starts out with the Autobots and Decepticons fighting, and the Decepticons retreat into a place which has a lot of energy, and also turns out to be a time portal. And they also find out that they went back approximately to the Dark Ages, and also make an alliance with an old king there. And also, the Autobots are luckily there to put a stop to the Decepticons. And so, the Autobots are taken to another castle to help make an alliance with another king to help settle a feud, which is going to be settled in a tournament the next day. And also, the Autobots are, as it turns out, running low on energon. And at the tournament, the Autobots champion wins at jousting, and Starscream does this here.
I've had enough of this chivalrous nonsense. Red Knight, surrender your kingdom to me within 24 hours, or never see your daughter again!
I mean, hey Starscream, why even participate in the jousting in the first place? Why not just go up to your rival king's castle and just be like, hey, submit or die to me. I'm a giant robot. I mean, even if the Autobots are there, it's at least worth a try or something like that. But luckily for the Autobots, the Decepticons are also running low on energy. In this case, Starscream is unable to fly. Anyways, so Starscream manages to take over this castle, and he also manages to recharge a little bit, and Spike goes off to go save the princess, and for the princess and that one person who's the leader of the other castle that Starscream took over...
Goest from here!
Nimue, I want to...
I care not! Thou hast done enough already! First thou tries to steal my father's castle, and now these monsters thou callest friends are going to make slaves of us all, and...
Thou art right.
And then... What?
Thou art absolutely right. I've been an idiot, but I'll do my best to change.
Thou wilt?
Yes. By the way, didst thou know thine eyes are most beautiful?
They are?
Well, I guess we know who's getting married next. Anyways, so Spike manages to find something else out about the Decepticons and what they are planning.
I've got your stupid potassium nitrate.
Great work, little buddy. We've already got the sulfur and charcoal.
Charcoal? Potassium nitrate? Sulfur?
Which just so happens to be the ingredients for gunpowder. I just figured that if there are any kids watching this, they would also want to know. Anyways, so the Autobots storm the castle, and they are kinda losing because, well, they are running low on energon. At least up until this wizard guy comes along, and he recharges them. And with an energy recharge, the Autobots end up defeating the Decepticons. The Autobots and Decepticons are sent back to their time, and, well, this here happens, and the episode ends.
Megatron, hold your fire! It's me, Starscream! We're back! We're back!
Starscream, you fool! You ruined my shot!
It's the 20th century, all right. Now let's clear out!
What's the matter? Aren't you glad to see us?
And overall, I will say that this episode is actually pretty forgettable. I will probably forget this episode by the end of today, and that's all I can really say. And I guess the ending was pretty funny, and that's the only thing I'm actually going to remember. And without further ado, on to the next episode, which is The God's Gambit, where Astro Train becomes a god on an alien planet. Without further ado, let's get into this! So, the episode starts out with this random guy here, basically scamming the population of Saturn's moon Titan out of food, with the threat of the sun gods being angry. But luckily, this woman here is able to resist him and basically topple his tower, which is kind of weird because this here is supposedly the same place, But hey, what do I know? Anyways, so Cosmos ends up getting shot down over Titan by Astrotrain and the Decepticons. And also, Astrotrain manages to convince the people that he is in fact one of their sky gods. And he also captures Cosmos and basically uses that energy reader that Cosmos has to try to find some energon. But luckily, that woman who resisted that one scammer earlier ends up sending a distress signal to the Autobots, and they send Jazz and Perceptor along with Omega Supreme to go deal with the Decepticons and go save Cosmos. And so the Autobots land on Titan, but unfortunately Omega Supreme's energy reserves are so low that he can't really transform and help them. So they need to find Cosmos to go give some energy to Omega Supreme. And the Decepticons are also mining energy on Titan. And so the Autobots try to go save Cosmos, but unfortunately they get spotted by the Decepticons, and they find out that those crystals are actually incredibly unstable and kinda hurt, and they get knocked off of a cliff. And also that woman who resisted that scammer earlier ends up getting captured by the Decepticons. But luckily, the Autobots are okay, and they also end up finding out where the Energon crystals are, and they also find out that the inhabitants are starting to question whether their faith is well placed, and Perceptor ends up going and refueling Omega Supreme with some crystals. Meanwhile, Jazz goes and rescues that woman, who was helping them earlier, from being sacrificed by her people. And just when things look hairy for Jazz, Omega Supreme shows up and he starts kicking the Decepticons around. And the Decepticons, knowing that they have been beat, well, Astrotrain releases his inner Megatron.
Astrotrain, who are these false gods? We can't fight Omega Supreme. Then we won't try. If we can't have the energy crystals, no one will. Lord Astrotrain, what about me? Die like the worm you are!
Anyways, with the temple exploding, the Autobots end up going and saving that civilization, and Cosmos gets reactivated and the episode ends. And overall, I will say that the God's Gambit is a good episode. I like the concept of how the Decepticons fool a civilization from another planet into thinking that they're some sort of gods, and also use them to their advantage, you know, with things like mining for Energon, and also using them as cannon fodder against the Autobots. And I like how there was that one member who was dedicated to proving that there was no such thing as sky gods. And other than that, I don't really have a whole lot to say other than I would highly recommend this episode, and that's all I really got to say. And I think with that, that's gonna do it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.